I would like now to invite to the stage our sales and marketing director, a person who is probably crossing the world at least twice a year and who has been to the most unique and exotic places you can ever think of. So please welcome Roman Holenkov.
Thank you, Tatiana. I've been to exotic places. Haven't been actually in the clouds yet, but this is the topic, one of the main topics of today's conference. PortaOne introduced cloud offering this spring. So it's very new, but I have already spoken to so many customers, both existing and the new customers, who ask me lots of different questions about the portability or PortaSwitch in the cloud. They ask what sort of licensing there would be required there. They ask about where that actual cloud is located. They ask about redundancy and high availability options. They ask even about success stories. So, and there are lots of misconceptions about the cloud itself. So, what I wanted to talk about today is actually what cloud is not. So, is it really a cloud somewhere? There is a popular saying that actually there is no cloud. It's someone else's server which is located in a data facility. So we work today with two companies. We work with a French company, OVH, and we work with Oracle. Oracle is available all across the United States in their data centers and in Brazil, as well as in Europe, Australia, Japan, and China. The presence of OVH is a bit more modest. They are focused more on European locations, and they also have a data center in Canada, in Sydney, Singapore, and lots of places in Amsterdam, in Europe. What I wanted to draw attention at, that this is extremely fast-moving environment. I was meeting the OVH people in Singapore 2 weeks ago, and they said, before that I didn't know there was a data center in Sydney. Now they actually have 2 data centers in Sydney, so it happens on the fly. I had a conference call last week with Oracle. They confirmed there will be a new data center in Middle East by January next year. Unfortunately for my African customers, both companies have not confirmed yet their plans for data center in Johannesburg or any other locations yet. But looking at them and seeing what they do, I wouldn't be surprised if there will be a data center sometime next year. Another misconception. Many people ask me if it's an actual partition of a larger platform, because many of our customers, and for example Telinta, this is what they do. They divide PortaSwitch into virtual partitions and rent it out to smaller customers. PortaCloud is not a partition. It's a dedicated environment, dedicated instance of PortaSwitch. What does it mean, actually? What's the difference between a partition and your own instance? You have much more control over it, first of all. You can get access to the complete functionality. You decide what functionality you can use. You get full set of APIs. You have ability to decide when you want to update your system to the next version. You have a complete freedom to manage your own applications, and the most important thing, you have direct access to PortaOne technical support team. Another question. Okay, I go to cloud. It means that I get full redundancy by default. No, it's not. The cloud itself is just a collection of physical servers somewhere in the data center. So the cloud itself does not guarantee you high availability. It's obviously easy to replace the failed hardware if it's in the cloud because it requires less efforts and less trouble, but there will be some downtime because you need to switch to another server. So high availability is achieved through the configuration and the architecture of PortaSwitch itself. So each business critical component, billing engine, web server, and so on, the switching platform itself, we put them in a cluster, and instances of that clusters are distributed among different physical servers. So we are able to control that. The only difference is the database you use. So with my MySQL database, you cannot do that. You can have redundancy only in terms of the database. So you cannot put it in a cluster. But you can do that with Oracle Real Application Cluster. So that's two options, and you can decide what suits your requirements the best. What you can also do, you can have your cloud installation in different physical locations, in different parts on the same continent. For example, you can have one main installation in western part of the US and a secondary installation in eastern part of the US. So if there is a total disaster, when Oracle data center is failing and there is a hurricane or tornado and it just crashes everything, you can instantly move your operations to the secondary location, and this is done automatically. That was the first question I got from Ed Masaitis. Do I need another license? No. PortaSwitch in the cloud is not a license, it is a service. So you don't need to buy any additional licenses whatsoever. You still have full access to the functionality of PortaSwitch. You get 24/7 technical support. You get updates when you need it and when you decide it's time to update. And you get the complete infrastructure access to the cloud. So it's all-inclusive service. If it's a subscription, if it's a service, so what's the commitment? The commitment is literally 1 month. So when you move to the cloud, you pay a setup fee, which includes training and the first month of cloud service. And then you pay a monthly fee depending on your capacity requirements. The capacity requirements in this particular case are either the maximum number of concurrent calls or the maximum number of billable transactions you put through the system on a monthly basis. So, given the fact that the majority of our customers already have our system, what does it mean exactly for you? It means that you can use the cloud when you're migrating from your old hardware, your old servers, and you believe that there is no need to have your own platform in your own data center anymore. You can launch new projects aside from your main business. That can also be done on a cloud, because you can do a proof of a concept. You can use the system for staging purposes as well. So you don't need to buy specific servers and install it on your data center. And you can use the redundancy for, you can use the cloud for redundancy as well. So there will be other presentations discussing that particular topics, so I will not spend more time on that. Now, the last question. Do we have the success stories? Yes, we do.